comparing, trying to prove yourself, trying to be interesting, all of these things, evaluating myself. My goodness, that's what I did from the minute I got up until I went to bed. So now I had words for it. And then I talked to other people about it. And then I realized that, my goodness, I was certainly not the only one.
Hello and welcome everyone back to the Amanda Show. Yeah, I am with Anita today, the wonderful Anita, who I've also had the pleasure of meeting in Lisbon. And it's absolute delight. I can't wait to hear more about your story, Anita, and just the sound of your voice and your presence and your smiles. I'm just so curious to know more. So thank you for joining us today, and I'll leave it actually over to you to share what brought you here in the self-worth world universe.
Thank you, Amanda. This is great fun to be here with you, as always, in whatever way. Yeah, I mean, a self-worth story, I think, in my case, but I think in most cases, starts very, very early. I was blissfully unaware of self-worth or self-worth issues until the age of 10, 11. Before that, all I did was sit and eat and read, and that was all I wanted to do. I dove into the world of into all kinds of worlds, and that was my life, and it was wonderful. Enter high school or middle school, and when I came across these wonderful magazines, you guys, there was no internet, there was no TikTok, there was no Instagram at the time. Far from it. The only thing that we had to compare ourselves to others were these youth magazines with these beautiful, probably already photoshopped girls that were slender and slim and blonde and looked like the babes in California. And I looked at them and I said, I don't look like them. Must be something wrong with me. And certainly I didn't look like them because I weighed probably like 100 pounds and no more than that, 150 pounds. And I realized, no, this can't be, and this will not do. So I went on, I guess you would say I was anorexic, and I would stop eating just to be able to look a little bit more like these girls. So started very early, comparing myself to others, coming up short, and things like that. So it's true, I lost weight, and it was also good for my health. I did a lot of sports, and that was fun. So that was one terrain where I had a real issue with self-worth. There were other terrains where I was totally happy with myself, very adventurous. I took my backpack when I was in my early 20s, and I lived in Canada for a while, came back, met my American husband, and then consequently moved to the US. And that's where my second bout of self-doubt came about. Because there I was surrounded by, I was in a different culture. And my parameters, or a lot of my parameters that I had grown up with, didn't apply. And both in a good sense and in a not so good sense. But just to give you an example, in Europe, at least in Germany where I grew up, when you invite somebody for dinner, you buy, a piece of meat for that person, for everybody on the table. And you set the table and make it really nice and neat and respectable looking. There, my husband, he just last minute called over a couple of friends. Can we have this person over? And I gulped and I said, no, I don't. Don't have enough food. I didn't count on these people. And little by little, I realized how I was like a stick in this very flexible and generous environment. And people were so generous to me too when I gave birth to my first child. They came over with casseroles. It was a totally different culture. But what did that make me feel like? It made me feel like I was um, rigid and inflexible and things like that. So I really started to doubt myself and my worth, honestly, because everybody around me was so easy to get along with, and so they would invite me spontaneously, which was I wasn't used to. So I felt inadequate, actually. So that was the second bout of self-doubt and awareness that, or thinking that I wasn't good enough. And then again, because I'm curious, I don't like to stay in one job for very long. I always want to learn and get myself into a new profession or a new working environment. And then, of course, you always start at the bottom. And then that invites, again, a lot of falling short and self-doubt and trying to prove myself. So that was then a big, big issue. You know, I would say things at meetings just to say something, or I would write an email at 10 o'clock in the evening just to show my boss that I was really hard worker and really good, you know, that kind of thing. And all of this passed very subconsciously until I ran into John again, a good friend of mine in Brussels. And on the eve of his leaving Brussels, he told me about the book that he wrote, The Selfworth Safari. I read this book in one go and I said, oh my God. Suddenly, awareness, light bulbs went off, left, right, and center. And I said, this is me. Comparing, trying to prove yourself, trying to be interesting, all of these things, evaluating myself. My goodness, that's what I did from the minute I got up until I went to bed. So now I had words for it. And then I talked to other people about it. And then I realized that, my goodness, I was certainly not the only one. And then, of course, this is what got me then really hooked on doing this work. As I'm already a coach, this was going to be my niche, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here with all of you, wonderful coaches, associates, and because. And then another thing happened, actually, that really made the connection between myself, the book, and my children still live in America. And a couple of years ago, was it last year or the year before, there was just one shooting incident after another. And I read a statistic or a research that all of the perpetrators, I think with the exception of one, grew up in a household without a father. And what that showed me was that it wasn't so much the father figure, but the mother had to probably work two jobs, and of course couldn't have time to see her son. He's all young boys. These kids were not seen. And how could they, if they don't see themselves, let alone value themselves, how can they grow up in a way that with a sense of self-worth? And reversely, what does it do? You know, starting to hate yourself because they don't fit in, and taking out the hate on other people. So that reinforced in me also the determination to do this work more. I'm not sure I can reach a lot of young people because that's not my niche, but hopefully somehow somebody in our group can reach that population group, because it is so important for the world, for the whole society.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Anita. What an incredible story. And definitely a deeper purpose, a deeper why of why you're
Mm.
here, and integrating all your own experiences in life and then the teachings of what we've learned at the Selfworth Academy. So you mentioned this is the younger generation is perhaps not your niche. Who are you working with nowadays to help or support to implement this concept of self-worth? Well, not even concept, this intrinsic value feeling within us.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, you may know that I'm running a group called Badass Bootcamp for Women.
Of course I do. I love it. I love when you suggested the book to me as well. Like, what was the book called again? The
You
Badass.
are a badass.
You are badass.
How
Yeah.
to you're a badass. How to quit self-doubt, and I don't remember the subtitle anymore, but it was basically John's book written in a different style. And
Yep.
the two together just motivated me so much to do a 7-week course in which we explore and analyze a little bit our self-doubts, and then move from self-doubt to finding our essence, our purpose, and then building on it, uh, all with using different resources, including positive intelligence, but certainly the mainstay is John's work. And yeah, and women love it. They create a little community of, and they help each other. And it's the interaction between them. It's about most of the learning. I mean, of course, I guide them with questions and lots of resources, but it's the power lies really in the interaction of the women and how they support and inspire each other. Yeah. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you for creating that space. What's the common thread between them? Are they all in the professional field? Are they um, mothers? Like, is there a specific common theme?
Um, Not yet. And it's actually quite interesting. I also have different generations sometimes in that one group. And it's fascinating how the older generation inspires in certain ways the younger generation, and vice versa. So and they're almost without exception professional women. Um, yeah, professional women of all sorts, working for either in big companies or an NGO. It doesn't matter. I had one student as well, and that was she was incredibly thoughtful. This younger generation impresses me so much. Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
and this is also one of my greatest purposes, or what gives me a lot of meaning, is to help younger women also to assert themselves more, to above all know who they are before the world told them who they were supposed to be. And that's really one of my main um, objectives, really, of
Mm.
this course. Yeah.
I
Mm.
love that. Thank you.
Mhm.
Did you want to share anything else that you feel might be useful for anyone listening right now?
Um, well, of course, I don't know whether it is noted somewhere else, but we're organizing a wonderful event in February, the Self-Worth Awareness Week. It's a whole week of fun and inspiring workshops, keynotes from all over the place. So we have wonderful speakers from Europe and also from the US, and workshops. Amanda is going to be there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely worth it. It's the price is right. It's democratically priced, and if you contact me, I can give you even 10 euros off for
Yeah.
for the admission. Yeah. Mm.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
I will put your details down below for anyone who also might be even interested in the badass groups
Yes.
or having a one-on-one call with you to get to know you a bit further. So those details
That'd
will
be
be
great.
down below. I thank you, Anita,
And
and I'm also looking forward to February next year. It's an amazing lineup, and yes, lots is going to be shared, I feel, and it will be a great. Oh, well, it is. It's an awareness event, so for anyone who's curious to learn more, this is your opportunity.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and from all different angles and perspectives
Mm,
and areas of application.
mm.
So it's going to be rich, very rich. And the badass, I'm starting again the week of January 10th. So
Cool. Awesome. The
mm,
new year. New year, starting fresh.
exactly.
Yeah. Thank
All
you,
right.
Anita. Have a beautiful day, everyone, and see you next time.
See you. Bye bye, Amanda.